All right, I just started this booktube. I'm Rick Harsh. This is the first booktube in a little while. I don't know. I started it a couple of minutes ago and it just stopped. I don't know why that happened, and I'm going to trust it not to happen again. If it happens again, you'll know nothing about this, and I won't do anything about it. The lighting here, my film director, we have a film coming out in the spring called Portrait of a Man Drowning. Sasha Muniza said, maybe you could light your booktubes just using your computer. And so I'm not looking at the computer. I just turned it on, and there are no other lights in here. And so this is for him. He also thinks that I should use this device, which I am using, a tripod that holds the camera. And I think he wants me to be well centered, and he wants my head down more than I usually have it. I'm going to find out. You'll see if there's a difference between part one, part two, part three. Anyway, the part one is the introduction. That's how we learn to do things in the academy. And the reason I'm doing a booktube on literature and war, did I say yet even that I was doing a booktube on literature and war of multi parts? I'm not good at this. I just say whatever comes to my mind, and God knows where it's going to end up. But this time I'm going to try to do it properly. I have it very well organized in my head, and I took some fucking notes. But this is only the introduction, so what the hell. Um, I I posted something the other day mocking APAC, because there are all these tropes about all religious communities, all about minorities, about women, about races, and so on. And the thing about APAC is the in the United States, the main trope about Jews is, with the money, right? And I was just making a joke about how bad APAC was for that stereotype, because they spend so much fucking money involving themselves in the U.S. political system, and they ruin careers. You know, they make careers, of course, and they have far more influence than anybody should ever have. They're like the fucking gun lobby. Only more people are get killed per month being Israeli, are being near Israelis. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, a school shooting is a horrific thing, but in Gaza, before October 7th, I think about every month you'd lose the same number of Palestinians to Israeli settlers and the IDF as you would in school shootings in the United States that same month. Now, of course, um, I think every day it's like in Gaza, how many people are killed in Gaza every day, about how many school shootings. The math is going to get really difficult if I keep up with this analogy. Uh, the point being that I made a joke about that because I thought it just struck me as really funny. I'm so fucking sick of what a hundred fucking amputees. No, wait. It's 1,000 total now. I think children who've had um, surgery to cut off a limb. What do they call that? Amputation. About 1,000 amputated children's limbs without anesthetic, which doesn't account for the ones before all the anesthetic ran out. And who's in control of that? Of course, the Israelis are. And but I know that what I got two responses. one response, they more or less said the same thing. Like, what the fuck's the matter with you? What's wrong with your brain? That kind of thing was implied. No questions were asked about what I think. Which is that um, uh, Israel is probably, along with the United States, among the most monstrous countries in the world, and probably, given that they have nuclear weapons, I think that they're probably the most likely country to use a nuclear weapon because they have the fanaticism unchecked, and the United States has fanaticism um, getting towards a point where it's going to be unchecked. But they've had it. If you've read about this at all, the how close the U.S. has come to using nuclear weapons, they deserve a great deal of praise for only using two, uh, but less so when you find out how many times they came really close. And I get my political opinion, historical opinion is that Kennedy was like a contemporary politician, very egocentric, selfish, and not much of a thinking person, not a humanitarian person, and that the Cuban Missile Crisis was putting the world at risk for no good fucking reason, out of hypocrisy. Anyway, I think that's self-evident, and if you want to ask me about it, you're more than welcome to, which is more than what these people who wrote about my APAC joke did. But they're the reason I'm doing something on literature at war, because both of them, one way or another, said, leave politics or history. Both words were used. I don't want to differentiate. I don't want to point out any one person. And I don't. It's not a matter of identifying them. I don't blame any individual for, despising something that I think or remarking about something. But one of them did go over a line that's within me, which is the I said something about how much he kind of liked my bookstore. He was just getting to know it or like it or something like that. His writing was a little bit unclear to me, but the implication was, but if you're a fucking anti-Semite, and of course I like lots of Semites, Palestinians as a whole. I'm biased. I like Palestinians. As far as Semitic Jews, I really don't have any bias one way or the other. Zionists hate the fuckers, and I don't think Israel should exist. I think it might be too late to get rid of it, and in any humane fashion. Do they deserve it? Well, isn't that most people who bought into the Zionist project probably do. No, the settlers in the West Bank don't. But I'm not for erasing the state of Israel, but I think it was a historic mistake. It was an extension of colonialism beyond the worth of colonialism. But at the same time, I believe nationalism is out of fashion and should be dead by now. The Yugoslav project. I live in ex-Yugoslavia. The Yugoslav project should probably have worked. Could probably have worked. I don't think it's so easy that we can just say human nature and all. That's why it didn't work. I think a lot of times things don't work because they aren't allowed to work, like in Nicaragua in the 80s under Reagan. The U.S. made goddamn sure that Nicaragua was fucked when they went all full-blown Sandinista. In 50 years, all people are going to know is the Clash. which is, okay with me. I don't know why we're on Earth. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at is that I'm making this because two people responded by saying that, that politics and or history have no place in literature. And I thought, now there's a topic, war in literature. And so this is part one, the introduction, the why, because a couple of people expressed their disagreement with me about political matter by saying something. One that was sort of it was a sort of not. It wasn't on the level of that's a nice little opinion you got there. You could lose that. But nice little book publishing company. You don't want to be talking too much about Palestinians on there. You want to keep, that I can't shut up then. So I'm going to do something on literature and war, and also because many of my books are focused on my anti-fascist worldview and my feelings about my view of history, especially in the 20th century. And we'll be going over some of those, but that'll be part two, one of those. Part three will be about literature, mostly in mostly from during the 20th century. I'll be talking about some literature that focuses on war, and don't let me forget the one Slovene, Vitomil Zupan, Minuet za Kitaro, Minuet for Guitar. There's a subtitle to that, and I can never remember what it is, but a something in 21 shots. I don't know. Maybe I'll find out by the time we get to that. That'll be part three. Part four, I'll go through the books of mine that I haven't mentioned and talk about why I do what I do to some degree. And part five will be the conclusion. And I have no idea what the hell I'm going to say then. So today, this is all I'm going to do. And if you've gotten this far, you're probably in a very small minority. And you should look around and ask yourself, why the fuck am I here? So I think what happens is I digress a lot. And as I'm getting old, I don't once I get off the trail, I have to walk my way back through forest, and I get utterly lost. And I don't even think about it in most cases. But I think I was going to say about the lighting here. Yeah, I think I did mention that. Yeah, my film director wanted to know if I could use the computer for lighting. I did mention. I got to give myself more credit. There's more brain left up there than I realized. All right, I'll be back within a couple of days if the sleeping goes well and nobody comes over with a bottle of alcohol. So the book that we'll be describing, where the hell is? Here it is. If you want to get a start, there, I think Chris Villa wrote the afterward, but I don't know if he talks about this. He talks about my book, The Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas, on his channel. So if you want to get something about what I write, check Chris Villa Rickarsh. He's done a couple of my books. That I don't know. This one I think he just wrote about, and so I'll give you the goods about this book, not just what it's about, but why it was written. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.